Hello, and welcome to the Kathleen Spracklin podcast. I am a woman on a mission to gather a cadre of writers, thinkers, and teachers who are transforming the world one character at a time. And it all depends on one thing: a deep understanding of human motivation, why people do what they do, and the forces that drive them. And I am still on this side road of talking about the Zettelkasten. Tonight's podcast is an attempt to answer a question from Erin. Erin is just starting out with her Zettelkasten, and she's using the Effortless numbering system. I am so happy to see that. And she's finding that her card numbers are kind of spreading out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they're just kind of growing. And she's wondering if she's doing things correctly. She says a few are coming in with letters, but mostly they're just kind of spreading out. She says she's reading from many different domains, and she wants to know if this is normal, if she's on the right track. So let's take a look at the down-facing camera, and we'll talk a little bit more about, well, where do categories arise? Because if your concern is, how come categories aren't forming, we'll see when, where, and how they happen naturally in the effortless numbering system, so you never have to worry about the number that you're going to give to a card. Let's take a look over at the down-facing camera. So quite simply, the question is it okay if in a brand new Zettelkasten that's just starting out, if the card numbers look like this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and just keep on going. The answer is absolutely yes, provided that your cards look like this. Every one of your cards should have this basic format. You're going to begin with the information that you got from the source, which you identify down here, and include, besides that information, your feelings, your reaction to that information. Every card needs to have something of you built into it. Then the next thing that you'll produce on that card is what I call a tagline. And the purpose of a tagline, it's great if it's an active sentence, but the main purpose of it, and you can determine what tagline meets that purpose, you want that tagline to recall the whole card, the information and your reaction. So when you read that tagline, your index entries are going to be made from that tagline. And when you run into them, you want to suddenly say, oh, I remember that card. That's the purpose of the tagline. Okay, then as to number, this card gets to say, do I want to be with any of these cards that's already in my system? The card gets to choose its parent. If it looks through all of these cards and says, no, I don't want to be with any of those other cards, then this card would go in at the end and it would become card number 9. If, however, the card says, yeah, 5, I want to be with 5, then the card will go here and the card number will be 5A. Okay, now let's make things just a tiny bit more difficult. Suppose after this card decides that it wants to go with card number 5, you discover that there's already a card number 5A. In that case, what number will the new card get? In that case, it belongs directly under 5, but it can't be 5A, so this number would be 5B. Now, card 5 has 2 cards that want to be right next to it. And the way we indicate that is using a directory card. So now we would create a new directory card, and what that directory card would tell us is that card 5 has two children. Card A, the one that was already there, and the new card B with the new tagline that's just been added. Now take a look at what you've got going here. You've got three different taglines. Those are building up ideas from three different main cards. Remember, each of these cards would be of this same format with the information from the source and your feelings on both of these. So now we would have three sets of information from a source, three sets of feelings about that information, and they're all captured here on one card where you have all three taglines together. What you now have is your first conversation going on in your Zettelkasten. And this is the first category that's arising in your Zettelkasten. When the next card comes along, if it wants to go after card 5A, it's going to be 5A1. If a card wants to go after 5A1, it would be 5A1A. It's number, letter, number, letter. Then after four of those, we just throw in a dash like you would in a telephone number to make it easier to read. So it goes number, letter, dash. Number, letter, dash. And that is your effortless card numbering. You never want to have to think about the number. The number is always determined by the card that the new card wants to go with, probably just the next one in sequence, unless that spot is already taken, in which case it becomes the next available number. If we have another card that comes along that wants to go after 5, it's going to be C and will be added to the directory card. Are you ready for another wrinkle? There's another way that categories can arise in your Zettelkasten with effortless numbering system. Suppose you take our new card that we've been playing with, and it's saying, oh, I kind of want to go with 3, and I kind of want to go with 7. I like 3. I like 7. 3, 7, 3. Okay, 3. I'll go with 3. Well, in that case, it's very clear. Your new card, you know how to number it. It's going to be number 3A because you chose to go with 3. However, poor card 7 is not going to get left out in the cold. This card also really kind of wanted to go after 7. It almost wanted to be 7A. It could only choose 1, so it chose 3, but golly, it liked 7 too. So what we're going to do there is we're going to make a directory card to go behind card 7. The directory card is going to have card 7's tagline, and it's going to have the complete card number of our new card with the new card's tagline. Now we know when we look at card 7 that, it's got sort of a stepchild, if you will, over in card 3A under the topic introduced in 3. And that linkage is therefore not lost. And we don't want to lose the linkage on our new card either. Our new card actually would have very much liked to go with number 7 if it could choose both. So we're going to add a notation to our new card, C also 7. And again, we would put the complete card address here to say that, I could also have gone with card 7. And that is another way that you can get a category arising. It can arise out of a link. Here is just 3 and 3A. It's just a line. It's not really a whole conversation going yet. But over here, you've really kind of got something it's 2 topics, and you don't want to lose the fact that it links over here. And so this is a hint of a beginning of a conversation. Normally you'd have 3 before you'd have a real conversation going, but this is your only opportunity to capture that link. So we'll make a directory card for it right away and put that link in. So, Erin, I hope that answers your question. It's completely fine that the numbers are all spread out in your system, especially since you're telling me that you're reading in a wide range of areas and finding interesting things to add to your Zettelkasten from all different parts of knowledge. And so it's completely appropriate that they're spread out. The card always gets to choose what parent it wants, and those categories will arise in your data. You mentioned that you've already got some letters following numbers, so you're seeing that happen already, and it will continue at a very natural pace. And if you get it a little too spread out, then you'll find that those links will start happening, and those areas that got a little too spread out will be joined by those links and will come back together again in your Zettelkasten. It all happens naturally, and it's all totally effortless. When you're reading, you should be thinking about what you're reading. Make sure that you're adding some of yourself to every card, because that's where you really get an interaction with the information, your source, and your reaction to it. That's so important, because that's the whole purpose of a Zettelkasten, is to start expanding your mind. And the exciting thing is when you get those conversations going in your Zettelkasten, where you've got three different things starting to shape up and share information, you'll find that these are three different topics, each of which independently was enough to fill your whole mind and capture your whole attention. And now three things at the same time are all occupying your mind. It's like your mind gets to explode and grow. And that's, to me, the most exciting part of keeping a Zettelkasten. I'm just thrilled that you're doing it, and just keep it up, because the rewards are phenomenal, and you'll have this tool for the rest of your life. If I have missed the boat and I haven't answered your question, comment, and I'll take another stab at it. Okay, good night.